Welcome. Today, we're going to dive into some really profound ideas about life, about connection, and what it really means to find our deepest identity.
The core idea here, the thing we're really going to unpack, is that every single part of our lives, our learning, our relationships, even our past and our future, it's all woven together into one single meaningful story. Nothing is by chance.
But how do we actually see those connections in our own lives? That's the big question, right? So let's jump right in and explore that together.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the grand connection. We're starting with this foundational idea that nothing in our experience is random. Every moment, every lesson, it's all part of a much larger design that once we see it, can totally change our perspective. Think about it this way. For some of us, life can feel like a bunch of disconnected dots. You're trying to get from point A to B, and it just doesn't always make sense. But the idea here is that all those points are actually leading somewhere specific. Kind of like beads being strung together to form something beautiful and grand. And this frames connection not just as a feeling, but as this intentional structure. The lessons you learned last week, they're not isolated, they were preparing you for this week. And what you're learning now connects to what's next. It's all part of a single story, linking all of our personal journeys together under this one unified purpose. And the foundation of it all? Well, it's presented as knowing the heart of a loving father. So how does this big, universal connection become deeply personal? That's what this next section is all about, exploring the idea that each one of us is uniquely designed, seen, and valued for exactly who we are.
And it all starts with something we can relate to, the quality of true friendship. We're talking about a love so deep that it isn't afraid to connect with anyone, no matter their background or the boundaries other people might put up.
Now that is a powerful affirmation. It highlights a character that just gets what relationships are all about and actively rejects things like gossip. It's presented not just as a personality trait, but as this profound gift that allows for real, genuine connection. Next up, we see a different kind of person. Someone who maybe doesn't say a lot, but who holds this deep reservoir of wisdom, a quiet strength.
And this right here points to a really key theme. Our greatest qualities aren't things we just manufacture ourselves. They're like treasures placed within us, waiting to be discovered and shared. This wisdom is an inherent part of who they are.
The core idea here is that our personal worth isn't something we earn. It's something that is declared over us. It's a beauty that is just part of us, not defined by what the world thinks. I mean, this is a call to shift our perspective entirely, isn't it? It's about seeing ourselves not through the often critical lens of the world, but through the eyes of a loving creator who defines our beauty and says it is unique and absolutely unmatched. So you see the pattern here, right? This isn't a one-size-fits-all identity. Each person is seen as having a specific and powerful design. A warrior's strength might be found in their compassion, not in weapons. Someone else might carry the presence of royalty or bring things to life as an artist. These identities are all totally distinct, yet they're all part of the same grand, connected design. All right, now we turn to one of the most intimate and, well, challenging areas of connection: partnership. There are a few really vivid metaphors here that can help explain the complex, beautiful dynamics of two people learning to become one.
So a central idea is that two partners in a relationship are like two people, each holding a handful of jigsaw puzzle pieces. On their own, the pieces don't really form a complete image. What a powerful image. It's not just about finding the right person, it's about two people bringing their unique pieces and allowing a divine hand to fit them together into a single complete picture. And get this, it's not a one-time thing. It's described as a lifetime of puzzling, where the picture just keeps getting bigger and bigger. One of the hardest parts of completing this puzzle is mastering the balance between giving and receiving. Our culture often tells us it's better to give, but receiving, that can be a really hard process. It takes real humility. In fact, a key insight here is that you can't truly give what you haven't first learned how to receive. Another great metaphor used to describe partnership is that of a dance. It's not about two people moving around independently, but about learning to find a shared rhythm and move together in harmony. And this metaphor is so realistic about the process. Learning the steps takes a long time. And yeah, it can be exhausting. You will misstep. You're gonna step on each other's toes. But through that whole process, you create a dance that is entirely your own.
And what's so beautiful is that even if other people think your dance is clumsy or imperfect, the Father sees it as powerful and lovely. Two images of himself dancing together. You know, life is never static. We all find ourselves at crossroads, facing big decisions and transitions. This next section explores the idea that every season of life has its own specific purpose and a unique invitation.
And we see this applied to individuals in really different moments. A single mom finding encouragement, a couple needing to let things go, another entering a time of rest. It just goes to show that every season, no matter how different, holds a divine purpose.
This table here organizes those personal moments into universal experiences that I think we can all recognize. For example, are you in a season of letting go, being asked to release something that's holding you back? Or maybe a season of opening doors, where you're being called to step into something new, even if it feels scary. Figuring out your season is really the first step to embracing its invitation. Okay, we're rounding the final corner now, moving from understanding to action. This section highlights the deep connection between receiving a gift, the gift of our own identity and purpose, and then becoming a gift to other people. And right here, we find a simple but really powerful truth. Our desire to be generous flows directly from understanding that we ourselves are a precious gift. When you know you are a gift, giving just becomes a natural expression of who you are. And we can see this principle in action. I mean, these aren't abstract theories. These are moving, real-life examples. Somebody needs sunglasses, and another person gifts them a pair, completely out of the blue. A power adapter burns out, and days later, a new one is given. Each story just shows how these practical acts of giving connect our hearts and meet real needs, sometimes in ways that feel pretty miraculous. So the final idea is a really startling and unique metaphor. This kind of community built on connection and generosity is like a time bomb, but, a good one. Think about it. Most time bombs explode and scare people away, causing destruction. But this magnet time bomb, when it explodes through acts of love, generosity, and connection, does the exact opposite. It doesn't cause fear, it creates this irresistible attraction. It's such a powerful picture of a community's potential impact, drawing other people in to see what's happening. So as we close, we're left with this question. If our lives are stories, and a divine author is constantly rewriting them, redeeming past hurts, connecting disconnected chapters, and revealing our true identity, then the question for us to reflect on is this: what new chapters of connection, identity, and purpose are unfolding for you right now?